Hi, this is Kenny Dixon with Crossroads Faith and Film and Faithspotting podcast at Cannes. And it's day 8, starting to wind down a little bit. People are starting to leave town, but I thought I had a few comments on what's been going on so far. It's sort of the vibe. So this festival's been unique in that there hasn't been as much of an American film presence, at least in the big studios. There are only 2 films up for the Palme d'Or, and in the other categories and other competitions, they're not a big American presence. And so there's been a bit of a different vibe, more of an international feel, sort of a more of an independent filmmakers feel as well. And I haven't been to as many of the films this year. I've been to more panels. There's been a lot of panels. And, these are the Marseille du Film, which I get my badge through, is a film market, the largest film market in the world. And so they talk about things related to all sorts of the business or the film market. And a lot of the conversations this year have been on distribution and how to distribute in new ways, and that the old method, the old ways of doing things is broken. And obviously with box office as low as it has been coming out of pandemic, and even before that it had been declining, that's not a surprise. That sort of reminded me one maybe the first time I came here back in 2015. It dawned on me that as they were talking about declining box office sales then, that the film industry, the theatrical film industry, and the church have similar challenges in that, at least in mainline Protestant churches, there's been a decline, and there's been a decline in overall religiosity and church attendance, but at least in my experience, it's been through that. And the way we've talked about church and building attendance and reaching out and finding ways, because there's so many distractions in the world, there's so many other things to do, families and people are so busy. The old ways of inviting people and getting people to church and to an active church membership are not the same. And I mentioned this to one young executive at a talk I went to, and I said, y'all seem like you're in the same boat as us. And one of the things we're trying to work on is that calling and having opportunities for involvement in hands-on ministry, and mission. Money follows mission, and even attendance and participation follows mission. So I was saying, is there some way that, especially for certain types of films, is there a way to involve some type of call to action following a film, if it relates to a subject that might, allow that? And he sort of blew me off and said, well, if the content's good, then people will come. It's like, well, it's not really working out, but and I think they finally found that out. So one of the things they've been really focusing on is if you can't get a distribution deal, make your own deal. Build your brand, build your following, and use that. Use the tools of social media. Use AI. Of course, AI is everywhere. Finding ways to effectively market, to effectively communicate, one, that your film is out there, and 2, what your film is about. And finding a story, and finding ways to communicate that story and that narrative. And again, it's the same for us in the world of the church. We still need to be doing that, and we've known about that. And in some ways, some congregations, there's been some success stories, and everybody knows this in churches, but it's hard to implement, to actually come to the final, to implement the changes, especially older denominations or congregations. They know that up here, but when it comes down here to actually doing new things or doing things in new ways, there's still a lot of resistance. And holding on to what is considered right, tradition, and that. So, it follows for us in ministry. it follows. We still have the same challenges, and we still have the same need to seek out, to find new ways to reach out to people, to find new ways to offer contact and involvement and actual ministry, and make what we do in ministry so that it makes a difference, not only to those who are attending and being a part, but for those who are outside the church as well. I'll have another video where I talk about some of the films, but so far that's sort of been the vibe. It's been, what can we do? These are our challenges. Let's look for new ways to do things. And this is certainly a message the church needs to hear. God bless you. Bye-bye.